and welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Quinn Mitchell.
And today on the show, we're going to cover ebooks, ebooks head-to-head. You know, all these new readers these days, you can read books directly on an electronic device. You've heard of the Kindle, you've heard of maybe the Kobo. We're going to cover off the full spectrum of ebook readers today on Lab Rats. Now, what are you doing here? Because where'd Sean go?
He's in the bathroom.
Sean's in the bathroom. Is he coming out?
Yeah.
When?
I don't know.
Are you going to stick around for the whole show if he won't come out?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Well, yeah, as you know, Quinn Mitchell, of course, a big fan of ours from Calgary, came in for a couple of days to shoot a couple episodes with us. So thank you for standing in for Sean. You're actually much more handsome than him, and I like your hair better.
Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Now, you're oh, there he is. Do you wash your hands at least? All right. Well, so let's take a, should we take a break? And maybe by the time we take a break, he'll wash his hands, he'll come back, and he can help out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then did you want to give a big shout out around you have a tech channel on YouTube, don't you? What's it called?
YouTube.com/BigTechBoy26, no capitals.
Big Tech Boy 26. Okay, there you go. So you can check out Quinn. Thank you for standing in while Sean does his thing in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, ebook readers head-to-head. Today on
Lab Rats.
Welcome back to Lab Rats. So, what are you doing on that thing?
Oh, I wondered why things looked a little bit
Well,
odd.
we had to boost Quinn. All right, are your hands clean now? Thank you. Thank you very much. Before we get started on today's episode, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, quick message from our sponsor. So don't forget, check out hover.com. It's a fantastic website where you can go and register your domains, .coms, .tvs, .nets, whatever you want to, .net. We love them because they sponsor the show, of course. They're our sister company here at Two Caps. And they have amazing customer service. So if you don't want to wait online, wait on hold to talk to somebody in a foreign country about your, helping you with your MX record or something equally complicated, or how to get your email adjusted or whatever it is, just call these guys. They're going to answer on the first ring. They're not going to mess with your time, and you're going to love them. And to get you started, we're going to give you a coupon code right here for 10% off, just to try them out. And we promise you, you will love these guys. So it's hover.com. All right?
Yes.
Good. All right, so let's get on with this. So ebook readers. Now, this has been a huge phenomenon in the last few years. There was a big prediction that ebook readers would become a big market thing over the next 10 years. And this is about 6 or 7 years ago now. There was an arrival with a technology called electronic ink, which allows these displays to be highly readable in many cases.
Right. So we have one of them right in here.
So this is the Amazon Kindle
display,
and uses an electronic ink display. So the cool thing about this display is it's high resolution, is not backlit at all. So because it's not backlit, it doesn't strain your eyes. So it's almost like reading ink on paper.
Yes.
And yet it only uses battery power when you refresh the page.
Yeah, which is really key because you can actually have this sitting here like this for like 2 weeks and the battery would stay exactly the same.
Right.
Because with e-ink, and we did an entire episode on how this works, basically it flips it into that state and then keeps it there until you charge it or charge it again to flip it back and forth between white state, which is no ink showing, or black.
Right, which gives you a pixel. And apparently in the future they're working on color versions of this as well.
Right, and they do actually have color versions of this out in Japan right now. It's kind of rudimentary and it's very, very expensive. Yeah. Of course it's coming down. I know we've seen it for the last couple of years with color versions that were like thousands of dollars at that point, so not really all that feasible.
Now, the market is here today. We know that it's a big, stable market because, one, Amazon makes a fortune. It's one of their huge revenue generators in terms of selling ebooks. And if you think about it, there's no printing involved. It's just replicating software, right? The pricing's come down to $114, I think, on a new ad-supported version. And this has started like $200, $300, $350 I think it was when the first e-reader Amazon Kindle came out.
A bit expensive at first.
Good. So do you want to do like a model by model? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, we'll do a couple of the different ones that are out there and why you'd want one over the other potentially.
Okay. Starting with the Kindle?
Yeah, so we did the Kindle, and this is the new Wi-Fi version of the Kindle. So when it first came out, it was 3G only, so you would have to download over the network. You wouldn't have to pay any money to get a connection, but Amazon had a plan in place with a couple of cell phone carriers around the world to be able to download your books over this network.
Over their data network.
Yeah, so you go to Amazon and say, I want to buy this book for my Kindle, and press click here, or you'd say on the market here, you'd surf through and look for a book that you want, say, I want this one.
You can just store displayed on the actual site.
Yeah. So, and then it would essentially pull the information down over the network, and then away you go. So it would download it automatically over the cellular. You wouldn't have to think about it, it would just be there.
So this is called Shop in the Kindle Store.
Yeah, Shop in Kindle Store, and that will take you to the market. So this is one of the nice things that has made this really, really useful as a technology these days, is the fact that these manufacturers that are putting out these technologies, most of them big book chains, so Amazon with the Kindle, Barnes & Noble with the Nook, which we'll show off a bit later on, and I guess some of the other stores use something called Kobo, which is Canadian. We'll show off a Kobo reader as well. They have the market bundled with the hardware, so you don't have to buy something that has no content on and then find the content and then pull it in.
Right.
It's all right there. It's the iTunes model, essentially. You get an iPod and then go to iTunes, and it's all right there, and you can just pull it in through the same software interface or directly from the device itself.
Very cool. Okay, good. So this is so now it's available as a Wi-Fi model or Wi-Fi plus 3G.
Right.
Right. Okay, good.
And they've also introduced a newer version of it that's ad-supported.
Ad-supported, yeah.
So if you get just the regular old Wi-Fi version, I think it was like 149
or something.
149. It knocks about $20 off to have ad support, so you get to see ads on here, and that'll keep the price down.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure that that's really worth it if you're a big reader, because you'll always be annoyed. Just think of all the applications you use on your computer or on your iPhone or whatever that have ads popping up all the time. It's a little bit annoying. So,
but what's ingenious about this is the price point is now getting down, to close to $100. Once it gets to that $99 price point, I think that you're going to see these things proliferate. I think you're going to see them, being given away with bank accounts and put it maybe in cereal boxes, that kind of technology.
Yeah, there you go. So I guess the one important thing to mention here is that you have page views here. You can flip back and forth between your pages using these buttons here. You can search through the store and enter your own notes using the keyboard at the bottom here. Right. And of course, you have the ability to charge or actually bring in information over USB using the connector at the bottom. It has a headphone jack that allows you to listen to audio on the back, so if you have audiobooks, and even play MP3s on this. And it'll even do a little bit of rudimentary web surfing if you want to do that. Not great, but it's in there if you want.
This will also allow you to put PDFs on there for display, and I think Microsoft Word documents as well.
Yeah, it does have a number of different documents that it is compatible with, and that's listed on the site, so you can check that for all of the details.
Okay, great. So that's the
one.
Amazon Kindle.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the big daddy of this whole space, basically.
Yeah. Okay. What's next?
So next up we have the Kobo. The Kobo is something that we have up here in Canada with Chapters Indigo. I believe in the States it's what Borders uses. And again, it's got a market that's sort of built into this, except as opposed to being part of that particular book chain that services this. It's a company called Kobo, based here in Toronto. And they allow you to download a whole pile of books in much the same way that the Kindle does. So again, this has wireless, this one has Wi-Fi, and allows you to pull that information down over the network that way. Shop on the device, or I guess from the website, and push it over here.
Now we push the button. Can we wake it up? Maybe not.
There you go. So, and this is the interesting thing. It's in sleep mode right now. Sometimes when it runs out of power, it just looks like it's sit there stuck on a page. So if you don't charge it up, it might look like it's working, but it's not. Oh, there we go. So with the Kobo here, we have a slightly different way of interacting with it. So we don't have the keyboard on the bottom, so you can't type in as quickly as you can on here. You have to use a menu system to interact with it. It's got the directional panel here for flipping back and forth through your menu system. It's got these buttons along the side here for interacting with it and flipping pages and such. That is a secure digital, I believe, and you can add in extra information on that way. So. And again, you have the connection on the bottom for USB and for, is there a headphone jack on this one?
No.
No, there's not on this one. So obviously not as familiar with the Kobo as I am with the Kindle. So, but yeah, it's a nice alternative. You notice that from a screen perspective, they're fairly close in size. So they're pretty comparable in a lot of ways. Pricing is roughly the same. I think the Kobo is now down to $129. Doesn't have an ad-supported version yet, although they might do something fairly soon.
Future. Cool.
So there you go. Kobo and Kindle. These are the two big daddies.
I would have to say that if I chose between the two, I'd certainly choose this guy. Just more robust library, just generally better technology. But in a pinch, especially if you're a big customer of the company that it supports.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Kobo at all.
Yep.
Said so you don't have the keyboard on the bottom. How many times do you use the keyboard on the Kindle? It doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
And I said you can always, while the keyboard makes it really easy to search for titles while you're sitting there surfing over the Wi-Fi from the device itself, it's easy enough to actually download those from a web browser and push them there instead. So.
Cool. Okay, good.
All right. So next up we have the third in this series, and this one right here is called the Nook. Now the Nook is a bit different. I have to boot it up. This is a full-color device, touchscreen interface on here, so you can actually swipe through the pages with your finger. Unlike the Kobo and the Amazon, where you have to press a button to switch. So this brings a more naturalistic style of reading. When you're reading a book, what do? You grab the page and flip it over with your finger.
Right.
Now, what this one is doing, actually, which is kind of interesting, is it's actually booting into Android right now, and that's because this is, at its heart, an Android device. And it has been hacked by our good friend Andrew Moore-Crispin to be an Android 3.0 device.
Very cool.
So, but it does, of course, read books as well. When you don't have the SD card that's been hacked to run Android on it, it'll go into the regular Nook reader. You have access to the Barnes & Noble store. You can download everything. Full color, backlit, unfortunately, so it's not e-ink like the other two, which means that if you read for a long time and you're sensitive to a backlight, you might actually get a little bit of a headache.
Fatigue, yeah.
Get some eye fatigue from this. So
this is not the typical boot experience here. This is taking much longer because Andrew's messed with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean the experience of, and I'll boot this into the Nook later on. I forgot the card was in here. But basically all you have to do to unroot it is take the card out and reboot it. So it's one of those experiences. It's about $250, more expensive. It does have Wi-Fi built in. More expensive because it's color and because of the full Android tablet experience capabilities on this. So you can think that even though it's a reader now, all of the potential that it has and down the road for other things, a whole multimedia experience is all built right in here. Now try to imagine watching a movie on the Kindle. You're not gonna. No, on this, you can.
You could, yeah. You could.
So they could start selling movies on this as well.
And price point on this one?
It's $250. So I said,
$250. Wow.
It's about double the price of these other two, but think about it less in terms of twice the price of the e-reader, therefore it's not worth it, but think of it, it's about half the price of some of the tablet computers that are out there.
Amazing, yeah.
Not as powerful as a lot of Android tablets, but it does make a pretty serviceable tablet. You can play Angry Birds on this thing. So
wow.
There we go. So we've got Android up and running here. And the application launcher, it's a little bit flaky, so you may not...
we may want to hack each one, we may want to use it as a reader, but it's Barnes & Noble's default device.
Yeah, there we go. So we've got all of the applications on here.
Very
so you can see we have Angry Birds Rio on here.
Ah, love it.
So there you go.
Good stuff.
And again, it's got everything you'd want on a tablet. It's got the headphone jack, and it's got the buttons here for interaction. To flip forward, you would do that, and again, the USB charger on the bottom for connecting things up. So
good.
There you go.
There you go, the Nook. Okay.
And next up, so now we keep talking about all of these things like Kobo, Kindle, Nook. These are things that come from the book sellers out there, whether they're online or whether they're bricks and mortar stores. But there are other readers out there. So you've probably seen a bunch of no-name ones at the local Costco or whatnot, but there's also others out there from brand names like Sony. So we've got this one right here called the Reader. It's the Reader 350. It's a nice pink color for people that get tired of the boring old white and black models that we have out here. So we have a little bit of extra style on here. Again, this one is...
just to be fair, the Kobo does come with like 3 different colored backs.
So you can change that up a little bit, but this one right here, I said a little bit more colorful. Again, so we've got this ability to read the things here, and we can flip from page to page with touch. So it's a touch interface, a slightly smaller screen. So if you're used to paperbacks, and again, we can show you the difference in size right here. It's quite a bit more compact, so it's a lot more portable, easy to take with you. Got the headphone jack up top, so you can listen to audiobook content and other things. Again, the USB interface on the bottom, and this is the key problem with this one as compared to the other ones, I find. Great e-ink display, so the readability is not a problem. However, this one right here doesn't allow you to download wirelessly. You can't go to the Amazon store and push it and say, okay, I want it. What you need to do is they do have a store available with the application you get for this, and you can download ebooks, but you do have to download them to the computer and then push it over via USB. So you can't be out in the wild and say, I want to get this book and just download it on the fly. You do have to actually make an effort to download it to the computer and then push it over here.
I got it. Cool.
So about $179 for this one. That's Canadian, so I'm sure it's a little bit different in the States. So a little bit pricey, but again, it's got the touchscreen interface, which puts it a little bit upwards in terms of technology curve than the Kindle and the Kobo.
Right.
And again, it does read a whole lot of other formats too. So it's much more flexible than the other ones in its ability to, say, do EPUB or Mobi books. So you can do a whole pile of things. So you can go to your public library and take out books temporarily, throw them on here. So, and that's going to be made available on Kindle and I think on some of these other readers too. But for the time being, this is a really great choice, very compact, colorful, and flexible.
More of an executive version.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Yeah.
Okay, now now Apple, of course, not to be left out.
Yeah, so one of the things that was one of the big selling points for the iPad when they brought this out is this new app called iBooks. And right now we have a bookshelf that's pretty empty here because we actually just got the brand new iPad 2 here. Just arrived today, unfortunately. So, but you do have the ability to download books into this. They have a store available at the iTunes store as well, so you can download all the books you want. And
Collections.
yeah, I'm a bit surprised because typically they used to come with a Winnie the Pooh book beforehand.
Yeah.
For looking, but again, the bookshelf metaphor, and again, you'll notice that this right here is a full-color backlit display, much bigger screen, so it's not quite as portable as the Kindle or any of these other ones, to be honest, and more pricey, of course, because it's $499 at a starting point. However, of course, that's not all you're going to be doing with it. Again, like the Nook, you can actually root that one and turn it into a full tablet. This is a full tablet by its very design.
Yeah. And you, by the way, you can get the Kindle app on here and actually see Kindle books on here.
Yeah, you can get
if you choose that, right?
all of the other stores you can actually get apps for. So if you download a bunch of books on the Kindle, you can actually bring them over to here as well and read them there. So if you and your wife want to read one at the same time, you can both do that, one on here and one on the other. And again, of course, you can play Angry Birds on this, or you can play any of the other games or run any of the other apps that's on here. Again, $499, backlit display, so maybe not the best choice for extended reading.
iPad 2.
iPad 2, and the iPad 1 will do this as well.
Do the same thing as well, yeah, exactly. Good. All right, thank you so much.
There you go.
Now, which would be your choice?
You know what? I'm a Kindle boy.
Yeah.
I have been reading this one for a while. I'm still using the old one myself because my wife commandeered this one as soon as it came in the house and hasn't let me
touch it.
use it. Yeah, this is a little bit more compact than the white one. Has a much better screen, so it's easier for her to carry around and much nicer for her to look at.
Awesome. I love this device. Really clever.
Yeah, I mean, even the previous generation of this is still very usable. I use it for pretty much everything I read these days. And one of the key features, of course, for all of these devices, even if you're looking at something like this, imagine carrying around an 1,100-page Stephen King hardcover book versus this. I'll take this every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Airplanes are lighter as a consequence.
Yeah, you can buy stuff in the field. You can carry your entire book collection with you and not have to shoulder sling them and limp everywhere you go because you're carrying all your books.
Very cool. All right, thank you, Sean. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we have a clip of the week and, of course, your pictures. That's after this.
Well, welcome back to Lab Rats. It was a good episode here on the tablets, and I just realized you're not Andy.
Nope. Andy's in the bathroom.
So he's in the bathroom now, too. So he thinks that just because I take a bathroom break, he can in the middle of a show, too?
I guess.
All right, well, let's do this. So what are we going to do next? Clip of the week, you think?
Yep.
All right.
Of butterscotch.com.
Right, so butterscotch.com clip of the week. I believe we have Andrew Moore Crispin, our colleague who does Gadget TV, has one where he actually did the Nook. And I guess we'll take a quick look at that right now.
Welcome on deck. I'm Matt Harris.
Hi, I'm Jay Goldman.
Welcome to the A-List. Hi, welcome to Miss Download.
Now you can see here it's a heavily skinned version of Android, really designed for a more, well, let's say a less savvy user. Basically everything has been very simplified. We have, right off the bat, we have access to 3 home screens. We can put our books on these home screens. Now this is a book that has been downloaded from the Barnes & Noble bookstore on the device itself, which we'll also show you in a moment. So we're able to basically page over like this.
Let's see the whole clip that Andrew did on that Nook there. You can head over to butterscotch.com and check out the show notes, and the link for that is in the show notes right there. So Quinn, which of these readers do you think you'd want to carry around with you?
Well, I would probably pick the iPad 2.
iPad 2, this is almost as big as you.
Yeah, well, I like it because you know, it's not only an e-reader, it has other functionalities like listening to music, watching videos. You can play games on it too. The backlit really doesn't, the fact that it's a backlit display doesn't really bother me.
I think that definitely does depend on different types of people. For me, it bothers me after a little while. I can't watch my screen every day, but a lot of people are just used to this by now.
It can get kind of blurry too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like the iPad, but this one is cool too because now that I'm getting used to the Android operating system, this one is basically a mini version of the iPad, except it's cheaper too. You can listen to music on here. You can get apps like one of my favorites, Angry Birds. And so you can get Angry Birds on both of these devices. Also, you can get Airport Mania for both of these, which is also fun.
Not quite as powerful as the iPad or other Android tablets, but still, I think for someone that just wants to hack around and play around with an Android tablet, it's a really cheap way to get into that.
Yeah. Also, if your eyes hurt, like with these kind of screens, with the backlit screens, you can, of course, just turn down the brightness. I'm not sure if you can turn them off with the iPad, but you can just turn it down to be easier on the eyes.
That's always a good idea. Probably better. It'll save your battery too doing that. So.
Yeah. Also, if you're just like reading, it won't use as much power too. So definitely a longer battery with. You'll get longer battery life with these too.
Yeah. So those right there. The one thing we forgot to mention earlier on is the battery life on these will last like several weeks to months, even if you're not using it. Yeah. So.
And like they can probably hold around the same amount of books because with these it depends what capacity SD card you get for these, because then you can store different amounts of books.
Yeah, I think the Kindle has 2 or 4 gigabytes on there, so you have a limited amount. But yeah, obviously when you're getting into
get a lot of books with that.
There you go. All right, so we have no picture time today, unfortunately. But if you want to send your picture along, like Quinn has done before, actually we had Quinn's picture from. Last week with the Sean and Andy, the gerbils. So if you want to send a picture like this in along to us, and you can do so by sending it to
feedback@labrets.tv.
All right, and if you want to send it to a more complicated address, where would you send it to?
iPads and ebooks@labrets.tv.
That'll do it. So let's go with feedback@labrets just to make it easy and make sure it gets to us. All right, so there you go. That's a look at ebooks and the various permutations thereof today on LabRats. Thanks so much, Quinn, for being part of it.
You're welcome.
And don't forget to check out the show notes for this at butterscotch.com and see all of our back episodes. Again, as Andy says, it would be foolish for us to be here talking about our ebook readers if you weren't out there asking, why do my eyes hurt so much looking at this computer screen all the time? I don't want to read my books on this.
Hey, Sean, buddy, I'm gonna go to the bathroom too, actually.
What? Again?
Yeah, no, don't worry. I'll be fine.
Really? I'm Sean Carruthers.
I'm Quinn Mitchell.
Thanks for watching. Paul!
Are you ready?